Nithyanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Tandvatitam Gagana Satisham Tattvamasya Dilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satkurum Tam Namami. As you know, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are critical to ensuring a sustainable future, as it generates solutions for everyday life and helps us to answer the great mysteries of the universe. According to leading global experts serving on the UN Secretary General's Scientific Advisory Board, the top challenges for the future of humanity and the planet are one ocean, many countries, building a blue economy sustainably, addressing threats to biodiversity, and establishing a new paradigm for the global tropics, developing a comprehensive strategy against infectious agents, including a global system for immediate response, investing a fraction of GDP in research and education in basic science, averting enormous human disasters through prediction, emissions-free technology, changing the fossil fuel paradigm, providing drinkable water for all, and finding solutions for a world overwhelmed by unequal resource use and continued population growth.
And in order to find solutions to these challenges and to achieve a sustainable future for all, bridging gender gaps and melting down stereotypes in the field of science is absolutely necessary. In fact, history shows that despite challenges of gender discrimination and lack of recognition in the scientific community, countless inspiring women in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math, also called as STEM, have helped advance the understanding of the world around us through science. However, did you know that as of now, according to the United Nations data, less than 30% of scientific researchers worldwide are women? The UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, "Advancing gender equality in science and technology is essential for building a better future." He adds, "We have seen this yet again in the fight against COVID-19.
And today, February 11, is the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, as declared by the United Nations. It is a day to recognize that both science and gender equality are vital for the achievement of the internationally agreed Sustainable Development Goals, also known as SDG, including the 2030 Agenda. Ensuring gender equality in all fields, including science, is part of the core foundation of the mission of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam. With the blessings of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, this program is brought to you by Kailasa UN Mission in collaboration with Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Ancient Sacred Science, Arts and Sciences. So, who is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism? Let us now watch a short video.
Founder of Kailasa, Paramashiva, and his 1008th incarnation, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasannidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam is the reviver of Kailasa, the enlightened civilization, the greatest Hindu nation. His Divine Holiness was birthed by his predecessors of enlightened masters, great rishis, munis, siddhas, who predicted and recognized his Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam as an incarnation of Paramashiva as per the science of incarnation described in Hinduism. From his first Chaturmasya at the age of 3 in the year 1980 until the age of 16 in the year 1994, the Supreme Pontiff was trained for the revival of Kailasa. He began reviving Kailasa from the age of 16 after the coronation on the 25th May 1994. Kailasa that we see today is 26 years of sincere hard work of the reviver and Hindu diaspora all over the world.
the problems of the modern day humanity, Sanatana Hindu Dharma is solution. Whether the terrorism or climate change, natural calamities or man-made calamities, for all the problems humanity is facing, the only solution is science of living enlightenment, revealed by Paramashiva from the Vedagamas in the modern day through this body. I am a Hindu revivalist, not by any revolution, but by evolution and setting model communities. Understand? Kailasa is reviving the ancient Hindu enlightened civilization. Paramashiva manifested this Kailasa Mandala, the enlightenment ecosystem and the lifestyle. I am going to revive this whole enlightenment ecosystem, Kailasa, by creating a model Kailasas all over the world. I will work sincerely and revive this spiritual science.
Building a nation is not a project accomplished overnight or by virtue of hope. Kailasa is the manifestation of 26 years of sincere hard work, sacrifices, integrity of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Jagadguru Mahasanidhanam, His Divine Holiness Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam, and the Hindu diaspora worldwide for the past 26 years for the enlightenment of humanity.
Thank you for joining us live today. And your hosts for today's program on this International Day of Women and Girls in Science are Her Excellency Mavijayapriya Nithyananda, Permanent Ambassador of Kailasa to the United Nations, as well as delegates from Kailasa, Manitya Katitananda, and myself, Manitya Swatantra Priyananda. We warmly welcome each and every one of you as we are all connecting today to reflect on how science impacts our day-to-day life and how we can together work towards bridging gender gaps in the field of science for the benefit of humanity. But why do these questions matter? A simple look at statistics can help us understand the importance of such a discussion. According to the United Nations, a significant gender gap has persisted throughout the years at all levels of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, disciplines all over the world. Even though women have made tremendous progress towards increasing their participation in higher education, they are still underrepresented in these fields. Women are typically given smaller research grants than their male colleagues. And while they represent 33.3% of all researchers, only 12% of members of national science academies are women. In cutting-edge fields such as artificial intelligence, only 1 in 5 professionals, 22%, is a woman. Despite a shortage of skills in most of the technological fields driving the fourth industrial revolution, women still account for only 28% of engineering graduates and 40% of graduates in computer science and informatics. Female researchers tend to have shorter, less well-paid careers. Their work is underrepresented in high-profile journals, and they are often passed over for promotion.
So we have a few questions that we would like to ask you. Firstly, as a girl or a woman interested in the field of science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM, what support exists that you can leverage to help you towards the achievement of your goal? Secondly, as a parent, do you believe girls are given full and equal opportunity to participate in higher education? Thirdly, as teachers, principals, and school administrators, do your schools offer mentoring programs for girls and women to help them realize their peak potential? As university faculty and administrators, what is the ratio of women enrolled in STEM in your university, and how does that ratio compare to other faculties? A few more questions again. As individuals working in the field of STEM, are there changes in the working environment that would better support gender equality? As a corporate or government leader, do your policies embody gender equality? And what are the consequences on society when such values are not upheld? And last but not least, as a community member or influencer, what stereotypes need to be addressed and what changes need to be made in your community to ensure gender equality? So these are all questions that we have presented to you today, and we encourage you to share your comments and your thoughts on live social media throughout this discussion.
And in the next segment, we will learn how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is working on achieving gender equality in science in alignment to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. So what is the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is specifically doing to achieve the Sustainable Development Goal 2030? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has launched 108 humanitarian initiatives through Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations to spread the great spiritual truths of Hinduism from its age-old scriptures, the Vedas and Agamas, all over the world. For instance, Hinduism is a totality of at least 10,000 indigenous traditions and nations. Through the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is working to revive all these traditions and uniting all nations. Pertaining to science and gender equality, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism launched the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Feminine Empowerment and Gender Equality. Second, the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Mystical and Spiritual Sciences, and also the Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Ancient Sacred Arts and Sciences. These Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations initiatives directly align to the Sustainable Development Goals 2030. The SDG goal number 4, for example, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. The SDG goal number 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. The SDG goal number 9 is to build a resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation.
Thank you, Ma Vijayapriya. Let us now get into the core of the subject. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declared, Hinduism is the greatest science. The Hindu tradition has stood for over 10,000 years as an enlightened civilization. Hinduism has been a global beacon of spiritual and timeless wisdom, technology, and culture. The ancient Hindu civilization produced more than 40% of the world's GDP and was very advanced in many STEM-related fields. For example, in mathematics, the digit zero revolutionized mathematics. Advanced concepts such as the Pythagorean theorem was already known. Astronomy, they knew that the Earth revolved around the sun and had developed advanced sidereal charts. Architecture, to this day, Hindu temples and monuments that no one can replicate, even with all the modern machinery, exist. Construction, the flush toilet and complex sewage system was developed. Aerospace, so one example, the Pushpaka Vimanas, the aircrafts, which can fly not only from one place to another place, but from one plane to another plane. Medicine, the scientist Shushruta had developed cataract and plastic surgery, advances in Ayurveda and Siddha medicine. Nuclear force, the Bhagavad Gita reveals that the ancient Hindu civilization had mastered nuclear force technologies. One example, cosmic weapons such as Brahmastra, which would now be referred to as atomic weapons. And gravity, one of the oldest Hindu scriptures, Guru Tattva, referred to the force of gravity, the omnipresent force of the universe, known in Hindu scriptures as Prapancha. And these are only few examples. Yes, there are many such examples of scientific and economic revolution unleashed by the enlightened civilization. Such advances were possible primarily due to the science of enlightenment, also known as yoga, which formed the basis of the civilization. Arising from deep knowledge of the body, mind, and nature, yoga was the science of uniting humans with their divine potential inherent within them, also called Advaita or oneness, which led to extraordinary achievements.
So let us now take a look into how the legitimacy of Hindu sciences has been established in the sacred scriptures of Hinduism, the Vedas and the Agamas. So in Hinduism, there are two types of scriptures, the revealed scriptures and the remembered scriptures. The revealed scriptures are referred to as Shruti and the remembered scriptures as Smriti. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism defines Shruti as the ultimate cosmic truths and revelations, like the origin of the universe, the way cosmos functions, the reality of individual soul and universe. And there's Shruti, and a great example of this is the Veda Agamas. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explains that the Vedas and Agamas are accepted as Shruti, and Shruti is a Sanskrit word meaning that which is heard. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism specifically explains that the Vedas are the ultimate superior authority for Hindus. Vedas are the pure science where the ultimate truths are explained, whereas Agamas can be referred to as applied science or the scriptures where the applied science is expanded. In the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, his own words, he says, Agamas are more like a practical manual of how to, what to, where to, when to. All these details are answered with the right context, giving enough understanding, I should say, in a more sympathetic, compassionate way, with a lot of concern for human beings. The Agamas include detailed science on many subjects, such as how to construct cities, villages, temples, houses, palaces, how to sculpt deities, and how to conduct rituals.
There are many cases where information from the Vedas and Agamas, like astronomical calculations, have only just been recently verified scientifically, since only now the modern technology has evolved sufficiently to verify them. This makes us wonder, what other scientific knowledge in the Vedas and Agamas is yet to be discovered by modern science? In fact, there's a huge ocean of knowledge in the ancient Vedas and Agamas, which are today being rediscovered, which promises huge breakthroughs in science, physics, math, medicine, and all areas of human potential. Many of these discoveries have been recently tested in laboratory environments and totally overturn many scientific and physical limitations we thought were impossible, from levitation to materialization to abilities ranging from extraordinary healing, telepathy, remote viewing, to reading blindfolded. Research conducted on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's brain demonstrates an extraordinary possibility for human potential. For example, on April 14, 2005, Dr. William Collins, a leading researcher and practicing neurofeedback specialist at the latter's office in St. Louis, USA, studied the brain activity of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism while he was healing a subject. He concluded, "The world is not going to believe this." He revealed that Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's brain activity during just sitting was 1/20th that of normal people. Dr. Collins concluded, there's a normal state for the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, as his normal state was the same as Samadhi state, the state of meditative consciousness. While the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's meditation, Dr. Collins found brainwave readings that he concluded were like someone who had been meditating for 20 years. Further, he saw defying readings that indicated that while normal people meditated with concentration, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism merely entered into a state of pure awareness. When the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam, was made to heal a patient, the right side of his brain became so hyperactive that Dr. Collins stated, "If I had done this, I would be fatigued and sleeping by the time it is over." On the contrary, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was fresh after healing, which was a shock to Dr. Wan. The healer's brain readings revealed that high-frequency waves were produced and sustained during the healing period, which was abnormal and did not tire him out either, but rather refreshed him. And this is just one of the many examples of research conducted not only on the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, but also on his disciples and on participants of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's programs. Based on such extraordinary possibilities verified by modern science, what is in store for scientists, physicists, universities, and medical institutions worldwide? How can modern science catch up and attempt to measure these happenings?
Thank you, Mavijayapriya. This is a very good question. And so on December 19th, 2016, Dr. Rajiv Malhotra, an internationally known researcher, writer, speaker, and public intellectual on current affairs as they relate to civilizations, cross-cultural encounters, religion, and science, conducted a fascinating interview with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism about the future of science and how it is changing due to the extraordinary knowledge rooted in the Vedas and Agamas. In the interview with the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Dr. Rajiv Malhotra outlines the two requirements for something to be called a science. Number one, it needs to be based on some theoretical framework. And number two, the theoretical framework needs to outline the cause and effect. In other words, science is the theory of causation. This cause produces this result. You should be able to test and verify that it really works. Based on this definition, Dr. Rajiv Malhotra posits that the agamas satisfies both requirements of science because it outlines what must be done, for example, in the form of personal or temple rituals, and what result can be expected from these actions, thus satisfying the first requirement of science. The second requirement of science is that of testing and verifying. To better understand how the Veda Agamas meet this requirement, we must first define what are Shastra Pramana, Apta Pramana, Atma Pramana, and Sakshi Pramana. Shastra Pramana are the eternal, unchangeable truths as revealed in the source scriptures. Apta Pramanas are the experiences and results of Aptas, or authorities of Hinduism, the Vedic rishis and scientists who time-tested and verified this science. Atma Pramana are the accounts of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, this millennium's avatar own experiences. And Sakshi Pramana, the experiences of millions of disciples, devotees, and followers initiated into this science by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. And let us now listen to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's explanation of what are Shastra Pramanas, Apta Pramanas, Atma Pramanas.
Veda and Agamas are considered as Shastra Pramana. It is non-controversial. Anyone who is the follower of Sanatana Hindu Dharma, the accepting the superiority, authority of the Veda Agamas is the basic thing. And masters who accept the authority of the Veda Agamas only can be called as Aptas. Anyone and everyone cannot be called as Aptas. And all their words cannot be taken as Apta Pramana. Masters who accept the authority of the Vedas, Shastra Pramana, like Ramakrishna, Ramana Maharshi, those great beings, Patanjali, Krishna, the beings, the great masters, exemplaries, who accept the authority of the Veda Agamas are Aptas. Their input is very much needed because time to time they make the whole thing again alive.
New context.
They bring the whole Sanatana Hindu Dharma as real
Right.
in every new context.
Yes.
So Shastra Pramana and Apta Pramana are the authorities for Sanatana Hindu Dharma. Anybody who gets any Atma Pramana, they have to acid wash their Atma Pramana with Shastra Pramana and Apta Pramana. Whatever stands that acid wash only should be shared with the world.
It's a beautiful sharing and explanation by the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So in this video, Dr. Rajiv Malhotra, he further shared the empirical foundation of all the practices is verified in two ways. One is it produces the results being promised, and secondly, it is in compliance with the Shastra. As long as that is the case, there is no logical scientific basis for you to reject. He went on and explained and asked the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, the Veda Agamas are the highest truth, the ultimate truth. But how were they written? Who authored these most revered source books of Hinduism? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explains, understand, Agama records very clearly. Paramashiva gave Agamas, revealed Vedas, everything to the Sapta Rishis. Please understand, Vedas has no age. It's eternal, apaurishe. Aparushayatva, meaning not be originated by any Purusha or man, not having any Purusha as origin. Vedas are eternal, but they were penned down, revealed by the rishis, a little after Paramashiva revealed the Agamas. So the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals that the Vedas, they're literally God. All the ashrams start worshipping this book. This is the cosmic source of the cosmic knowledge. Understand the simple introduction. The universal energy, cosmic energy, manifests these cosmic vibrations. These vibrations, when it gets mapped into powerful cognitions, knowledge, that is called Shabda Veda. This is not a book, it is literally God. Veda, Shabda Veda, Bhagwan himself. It is directly given by Paramashiva, just to introduce the source of the cosmic source of the cosmic knowledge.
And the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism further shared, people ask me, why should we follow the Agamas? If you start only, you will understand. So much time will not be wasted in reinventing. The whole Agamas comes from such a higher space. Even if you do research and development, after 200 years, you will end up the same. If you bring the Agamas and start using it, you will not be wasting 200 years of research and development. That's all. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism on February 27, 2019. So now let us watch a short video.
If you understand the physics, chemistry, biology of the cosmos, which I am trying to reveal to the world, the super science pratyaksha pramanas, understand? The modern day science is yet to catch up with the pratyaksha pramana of Paramashiva. All the things I am trying to reveal is fundamental principles. I tell you, if little energy, time, money, intelligence is spent in doing research on the super science of Paramashiva, within next 10 years, the humanity will have 10 times more growth than what we had in last 1000 years. Understand? From the time modern science has started developing, whatever growth humanity had, modern day science and modern day technology, from that time, modern science and modern technologies have started getting developed. Whatever growth humanity had, 10 times more we will have in next 10 years if we can put little time, energy, intelligence in doing research on the super science, pratyaksha pramanas, Paramashiva has revealed in Veda Agamas.
The extraordinary knowledge rooted in the Vedas and Agamas is both a pure and applied science gifted to humanity from Paramashiva, revealed through the ancient rishis. This science is necessary to ensure a sustainable future, which is why the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is making it available to the whole world.
And a very important part of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's work is to transmit Vedic sciences, the superconscious science, to all women for the enlightenment of humanity. And so on this International Day of Women and Girls in Science, let us see how the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is transmitting this knowledge to all women. So first, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is a bold advocate of women empowerment and gender equality. He was himself groomed and trained by extraordinary women, pillars and protectors of the ancient Hindu civilization and its enlightenment science. One of his gurus was Mataji Vibhutananda Puri Devi, also known as Kupamal. She was a true yogini and master of Hindu sciences. Kupamal taught the young Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism many ancient sciences, which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism initiates humanity into today.
Thank you, Ma Swatantrapriya. And some of these sciences include the science of Shodasi, the 16 syllables revered in the Hindu tradition of mother worship, which awakens the geometry of the very cosmos as Sri Yantra in one system. And in fact, over the last couple of days, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism himself has been initiating thousands across the globe into this most powerful science of Shodasi. So do not miss any of these initiations. It's all live on social media and free and easily accessible to all. Then there's the science of Nirahara Samyama, living without food. It is an expression of yogic powers with the ability to absorb energy directly from air. It is a technique used to explore and discover your body's possibility to live without any external input like food or water. In truth, your body is the miniature of the cosmos with all possible intelligence in it. Then there's the science of Aushadha, which is a spiritual alchemy science, which usually involves a mixture of herbal components, which is energized through mantras and other means. And this can be applied on the skin or swallowed to sustain the enlightenment energy and manifest extraordinary powers. Some examples of Aushadhas include Putra Kameshri Aushadha, landing divine entities on planet Earth, Turyatita Aushadha, creating instant experience of the most exalted states of samadhi, Amritattva, awakening immortality, and Blue Veil, life positivity to combat collective delusion, and much more. And in fact, Kupamal initiated the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism into the Skanda Shashti Vratam, the austere 6-day practice of worship of Lord Muruga, and fasting before the auspicious occasion of Skanda Shashti, where Lord Muruga triumphantly declares victory over negativity of the world in the form of Tarakasur. On the first year that the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism did this vratam, he describes that he had the darshan of Lord Subramanya, another name for Lord Muruga, who then revealed to him the full alchemy science, the science of using ancient Hindu mandalas and energized items to sustain superconsciousness in you.
Thank you, Makatita. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares, morning I will sit with Raghupati Yogi and evening Kupamal and learn the Vedantic truths. She used to have a huge book, which is the essence of 4 Upanishads. Basically, she taught me all that. Through these and many other teachings and initiations from Yogini Mataji Kupamal, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism was able to achieve a superconscious breakthrough and realize his avataric mission. Through the revival of Kailasa, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is bringing the many ancient sciences of Hinduism to humanity and giving humanity a superconscious breakthrough for the sake of ensuring a sustainable future for all beings.
And today, through Kailasa, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives free education to women and girls in all fields, including sciences. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism reveals that the amazing system of enlightened women, sages, scientists, sacred, powerful women who dedicate their whole life to research and analysis of every field was decimated during the systematic, egregious, and ongoing genocide over the last 5,000 years. The Hindu Holocaust was a complete cultural genocide of female monastic orders. There is, in fact, much historical evidence that the pure and applied science in the sacred texts of Hinduism was practiced by women. The 64 Yogini Temple in Morena, Yogini Temple in Bhubaneswar, Vajrayogini Temple in Nepal. These are some of the temples that stand till date, legitimizing the history of the glorious Hindu feminism. There were many indigenous traditions, sampradayas, that had this science as their very lifestyle.
The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares. In Hindu tradition, there were beautiful sampradaya, the Rudra Kanya sampradaya, the sacred strong woman, sacred powerful woman who dedicate their whole life for all this research and analysis of every field. So whether it's Vastu, gemology, astrology, cosmology, biology, physics, or geography, these women who are dispassionate, who have no strings attached, who are completely in the space of Vairagya, most sacred, most powerful space. This whole generation, the Sampradaya of Rudra Kanyas, dedicated their life for keeping the sacred science of Veda Agamic tradition alive as a backbone structure. So there are enough documents to prove that in Meenakshi's time, she was running a huge Hindu medicinal hospital with protocols with a large number of trained Rudra Kanyas being doctors. Not only in the field of medicine, in Meenakshi's time, women were the greatest teachers of yoga and power manifestation system and all other spiritual sciences and arts. So let us now listen to the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism as he describes how the science of producing Rudra Kanyas, Yogini, or female masters of yoga, Rishikas, female sages, and Swaminis, female gurus, was revealed, and the commitment of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism to revive this science as part of the Yogini Sarvanyapita.
Meenakshi's mother's Samrajya is called Surangi Samrajya. We have enough documents now to prove, historical documents, and Akashic records also confirm Meenakshi's mother Kanchanamala came from Surangi Samrajya. The whole science of yoginis, evolving yoginis and Rudrakanyas, Swaminis, giving superconscious breakthrough, enlightenment, powers to women, that whole science, Rishikas, producing Rishikas, Rudrakanyas, Yoginis, Swaminis. This whole science, Parashakti has revealed first to 64 Yoginis. Through Parashakti, Paramashiva himself revealed, and through them, the whole Sampradaya started evolving. That science was held, kept alive and protected and flourished in Surangi Samrajya. The place was called Hirapur, means Hiranyagarbhapuri. Hiranyagarbha means the golden cosmic eternal womb. Hiranyagarbha. Hirapur. The Devi's Hiranyagarbha. Parameshwara, the Parashakti, and Paramashiva, Parashakti, Parameshwara is one and the same. Paramashiva Parameshwara, Parashakti, manifested this great science of enlightenment and power manifestation to women of the universe and initiated the 64 yoginis, and that science was kept alive as parampara in Surangi Samrajya. That is why the Kanchana Mala, who was master of that science, who was princess of Surangi Samrajya, was married to Malayadvaja Pandya. When Meenakshi happened, the whole science was revived in Madurai also. Now, with the grace of Devi Meenakshi Parashakti and Sundareshwara Paramashiva, the whole science of enlightenment, power manifestation, and all the best things for women is going to be again revived.
Yes, such beautiful and powerful revelations. Now, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism is reviving the whole science. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shares his vision for the future of girls and women in science. He said, all these sciences which were there in Surangi Samrajya, which Kanchanamala brought to Madurai, which was revived by Meenakshi, there will be a beautiful grand ecosystem exclusively for women. It will be reviving the Yogini sciences, revival of Yogini Sampradaya, Rudrakanya, Rishika, Swamini, Kulasundari. This Yogini Sarvanyapitam will be the greatest gift of Paramashiva and Parashakti through this body. This will have a unique temple, monastery, university, training center, exclusively for women, funded only by women. It will be built, operated, and run only by women. Among women, there will be 64 sampradayas as revealed by Paramashiva and Parashakti. The Yogini Sampradaya, Rudra, Rishika, Kulasundari, Swamini, like this, 64 sampradayas revealed by Parashakti, Paramashiva. All the 64 will be revived. Everything given to women by Parashakti and Paramashiva will be revived in this Yogini Sarvanya Pitam. Medicinal system, yoga, power manifestation, food, everything given to women by Paramashiva and Parashakti will be revived from here. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagavan Nithyananda Paramashivam.
And on June 20th, 2019, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shared, I will share the spiritual power manifestation sciences to the women of the world and evolve yoginis, swaminis, and rudrakanyas for future generations to have superconscious evolution and breakthroughs. And so for the past 27 years, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism has been relentlessly working towards the revival of the glorious past of the ancient enlightened civilizational nation, which mastered the cosmic sciences. Through the revival of the Yogini Sarvanyapita and the Rudrakanya Sampradaya, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism empowers women to learn, teach, and spread the science of enlightenment with the world once again.
And as we end today's presentation on the International Day of Women and Girls in Science, we would like to thank each of you for being here. We do hope that you would have gained a greater understanding and appreciation for Hinduism and all the greatest sciences of Hinduism. How the revival of the ancient science of Hinduism is not only good, but in fact necessary in the world today. And we would like to leave with you this beautiful quote from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. And he says, "You need to know Hinduism is a greater science. Only then you will revive it rightly." He shared as well in 2021, November 4th, "The Hindu knowledge is not all just documents, but verifiable, and even now practically usable. Hinduism is real. I can give millions of proofs that the future of humanity is dependent on the revival of Hinduism. Do not take Hinduism for granted." And he shared in 2020, "We need to make the Hindu nation to keep this great science alive and pass it on to the next generation." So we thank you once again, and we will now close with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyati. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sarvam Bhagavat Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Parukar Pranamastu. Om Nithyanandam